Amazing audience, we are live in New York. Whoop, whoop, whoop. We're recording actually from Multimedia Network Studios in New York. You should check out a great show about the podcasting industry, The Word from Mouth on iTunes at Multimedia, at mouthpodcast.com actually, wherever the best podcasts are found. With us today we have Rob Lowe. Spoke with him in
Sanchez.
Say that Sanchez.
Yeah.
So where did I get Lowe from?
I have no idea.
And I keep calling you Rob Lowe.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, now it's fixed.
I know where that came from. No, it's live. That's a good thing about live. You get to see exactly the mistakes we make.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep saying
It's
Rob
all good.
Lowe.
I think there's like 4 or 5 Robs who are all in podcasting.
Karen, okay,
yeah.
not
So
Karen Sanchez, yeah. So,
yeah.
That's cool.
So we probably,
All right. You look like a Sanchez, though. I mean, the hair.
Yeah.
Do you play the guitars?
I don't, but I do play a little banjo. So.
Well, that's great. Well, yeah, we have Rob Sanchez with us. Rob is going to give us an update as to what he's doing from the last time we spoke. Sounds like fun. Again, Rob, it's a great pleasure to meet you face to face. Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, it's just to
being
touch
able to
your
give
hand.
you a hug is better than.
Yeah, the hugging was good. Yeah, and he was about to pass me by, right? And he was like, we fixed that pretty quickly. Well, Rob, do tell us what's up in your world.
So since we spoke, we've kind of grown as a network a lot, and we've been focusing a lot more on live events, even more than we were before. And I became a father.
Wow.
So
congratulations.
The last one, yeah. Becoming a father, I think, was the biggest thing that happened.
What did you have, a son or
a son?
daughter?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jonathan was born on February 5th. My life completely changed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Explains the red eyes.
Yep. This morning I was late for a meeting because of I've got a baby.
Yeah.
So it's all good. Yeah.
How's your wife?
She's doing really well.
Yeah.
So luckily we have the flexibility that she can work from home. With the business that she's doing, it's hers, so she can set whatever hours she wants. So she's been able to really be with him.
Yeah.
That's helped a bit in the transition. And then the really nice thing is that her parents are here in Manhattan. So actually last night we went to stay at the parents' house, so I could make a meeting this morning, and it's really nice to be able to do that. And
it's funny though. It seems to me that the American dream, if you would, is that you get to be an adult and then you move very, very far from your parents, right? But
I'm 3,000 miles from mine. So
wow.
Yeah.
But what I'm seeing is a lot of individuals who really we've come from south. And we're coming up on the eastern side, but there are a few people who have their aunts not too far, right? In the same lot. That's a really nice model, isn't it?
Yeah. So my brother-in-law lives 6 blocks from us.
Yeah.
So we're out in Forest Hills in Queens. Her parents live here in Manhattan, and then we've been lucky enough to my parents are retired, so they've been flying in and staying for a month with us, and
that helps.
We couldn't have gotten through it without them.
It helps your sanity. Believe me. I mean, big up to my parents, right? Because we are here and we're able to do this. 2 grandparents, so Amanda's parents and my parents. 12 weeks. Wow. Yesterday when I spoke to her, she said, you know what? God told me something and I'm not going to do it anymore. I was like, what's that? I'm not going to complain and say, Angel, your children are doing this or that. But it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, It's
definitely,
a lot. Yeah. So tell us about the building we're in right now and tell us about Multimedia Network, please.
So you're inside of Voyager HQ, which is a travel, they call it a clubhouse because it's a physical space attached to a digital membership. But basically, Fairportal was founded by one person, Sam Jain. He grew from a $4,000 Amex loan into a $4 billion in revenue company. It's just massive growth. And he wanted to keep his eye on the travel space. So he decided to build a co-working type environment where travel startups could come together.
Yeah.
And we were launching Travel Is Your Business at the same time as they were starting. And so we were the third person, not tenant even, third person to come into the space.
Wow.
And then over time, we grew, they grew, we started launching more shows, and we decided to build a studio inside of their location.
Yeah. Where did Sennheiser come in?
So Sennheiser helped underwrite the cost of setting up the studio. They provided all of the mics that we record on, and a lot of the headphones that we use.
It's a beautiful space.
Thank you. Yeah,
it is.
It's been pretty phenomenal to have a space, and we actually make it, as we're doing now, available to podcasters.
Yeah.
And so that's a really nice thing to be able to do for the community too.
Yeah. Well, I highly appreciate it. Yeah. And I'm definitely going to give you as much promotion on my side, exactly, for what you've done here. Tell me, we cover a scenario, a segment called Your Own Unique Real Shoes, which is yours, an acronym called yours. And what I've found is, like, when I was preparing for this, one friend said, so what is going to be the theme? Yeah. And when she gave me a story, I came up with Your Own Unique Real Shoes, right?
Yeah.
And that concept is, what have you done to be where you are today? Because an individual will look at your shoes and say, wow, they are a great pair of shoes, right?
Yeah. So you can see them here. Yeah. They're Keds that are stitched like a baseball.
Yeah, like a baseball. Yeah, it's really...
And they actually have a home plate on the back of them.
Sweet. So I would see the shoes and say, wow. But the feet in the shoes, the journey you've traveled, the challenges. Give us an example of a challenge on this trek that you've experienced, please.
So I'm actually on the autism spectrum.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so growing up, all the way through my life, I've been learning how to interact, how to be, how to communicate, how to be comfortable, how to accept the sensory inputs I have around me, and how to compensate for some things that are unique challenges that I have. But at the same time, it's also learning to embrace the things about me that are unique. The way my mind works, things that I used to take for granted that I now realize make me very, very unique and special. So that's probably one of the biggest things. There's this concept called camouflage, where people on the spectrum often adopt habits that make them seem like they're not. And so I'm at a point where if I don't share that, people usually can't guess.
Well, I couldn't guess.
But it's something that I also want to make sure that I do share, so that people realize that not only can you live a full and happy life when you're on the spectrum, but there are things that you can do that no one else can, that you really should embrace, because you have a way of contributing to the world, and it's not a disease or an issue or anything like that. It's literally just who you are. And that's never wrong. Yeah, it is. We're actually working on a podcast concept called Actually It's a Superpower, where we want to discuss. So I did law school in about 3 hours a week.
Wow.
I studied only on the train to and from, and I was running 3 startups at the same time. I could not have done that with any other brain structure than the one I had.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I've had a conversation with one young lady, and she said, embrace doing more things if you can.
Yeah.
And we've seen that. Like, usually some people say you need to stay focused, right?
Yeah.
And I agree, focus on one thing, but how much of that thing, I think, would vary according to the individual.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What would you say to the individual out there that's, keeping from going, that is saying, no, I have this, so I cannot? What would you say to them?
Well, usually if there's a downside to something, there's also an upside. And what I would say is that you can always learn to mitigate downside issues. You can build strategies, but if you don't embrace the thing that is special about what is going on, then you're missing the reason. You're missing the thing that's important there. I have a network mind, and I have the ability to do 3-dimensional mapping in my head, but I struggle with interactions with people. And if you watch my hands, you'll see that I do a lot of things that are designed to sort of like calm myself and so on. So like one of those is a strategy for taking care of the way that I think and interact, and the other one is something that no one, through no amount of work, could ever replicate.
I love it.
Yep.
What's the best way for someone who's listening to connect with you?
So probably through LinkedIn. However, just say that you're connecting because of this interview.
Yeah.
And otherwise, email rob@mouthmedianetwork.com.
Yeah. Rob Sanchez, not Rob Lowe.
Yep.
That's great. In closing, my friend, when you heard that this Caribbean guy was coming to meet you face to face, what did you think?
Just happiness. I'm somebody who really does better one-on-one and in person, and so it's always nice to have a chance to sit down.
Your interview was great though. Like, I remember it like it was yesterday. It's funny, in the midst of 1,000 and some, how certain things like peek out and certain people like peer through. It's more me than the individual, but I love the concepts that you shared, especially the family aspect of life, and to see it grow now is just amazing. In closing, what would you like to share with our amazing audience?
Just that I love connecting with people, especially people who are working on the podcast space, and I want to learn as much as I can about the way people approach and the way people think. So reach out and share what's going on, and I want to do more in-person events and more meeting people and more making sure that we're physically together. That's not just around conferences. And so let's grab dinner, let's hang out, get coffee. I think that'd be really good.
Love it. Rob, it's a great pleasure having you on what is inspired by 12-minute convos with Angel Jones.
Excellent. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Boom.